Everyone's talking about Britney Spears getting arrested for DUI this week. But here's what most coverage is missing. This isn't just another celebrity messing up. This is what happens when someone spends 13 years having every single decision controlled, every emotion monitored, every rebellion punished. When you're finally free, but you never got to learn how to be free. Britney was released from her conservatorship in 2021. That was 5 years ago. And in those 5 years, according to court documents and her own memoir, she's been trying to figure out how to be an adult after spending her entire adult life being treated like she couldn't be trusted to choose her own breakfast. So when I saw Wednesday's arrest, I didn't see a cautionary tale. I saw someone still living with the consequences of systematic abuse. Let me explain why this is different. First, the facts. Wednesday night, March 4th, around 9:30 p.m., California Highway Patrol pulled over Britney Spears on the 101 freeway in Ventura County. According to NBC News and Variety, she was driving a black BMW erratically at high speed. CHP says she showed signs of impairment, failed field sobriety tests, and was arrested on suspicion of DUI involving drugs and alcohol. She was alone. That detail matters, and we'll come back to that. She was booked at 3 a.m. Thursday morning and released around 6 a.m. TMZ reports she was taken to a hospital immediately after being pulled over to have her blood drawn for BAC testing. No injuries, just protocol. Blood test results are still pending. She's scheduled for court May 4th. Her rep released a statement, quote, "This was an unfortunate incident that is completely inexcusable. Britney's going to take the right steps and comply with the law, and hopefully this can be the first step in long overdue change that needs to occur in Britney's life." They added that her sons are going to spend time with her, and loved ones are working on a plan for her well-being. US Weekly reports she's been staying at home since the arrest, knowing it'll be a media circus when she steps out. Page 6 confirms she reconnected with her mother, Lynn, who reached out immediately. This is significant because Lynn and Britney have had a complicated relationship, particularly around Lynn's role in the conservatorship. So that's the basic story. But if you only know that, you're missing the entire picture, because this arrest doesn't exist in a vacuum. It exists at the end of a timeline that includes documented abuse, institutional gaslighting, and a legal system that treated her like property for over a decade. To understand why Wednesday's arrest matters, we have to go back to 2007. That was Britney's worst year, the year she shaved her head, attacked a paparazzi's car with an umbrella, lost custody of her kids, and became the punchline of every late-night show. But here's what was actually happening. According to court documents obtained by the New York Times and reported in multiple documentaries, including Framing Britney, she was going through a divorce with Kevin Federline while fighting for custody of her 2 young sons. The Los Angeles County Department of Children and Family Services was investigating multiple child abuse and neglect allegations related to that custody battle. The media was relentless. Paparazzi followed her everywhere. When she drove with her infant son in her lap in 2006, she later explained to Matt Lauer that photographers were banging on her windows and she was trying to get away from them. The incident where she went into that gas station bathroom barefoot, that was captured and mocked endlessly. When she shaved her head on February 16, 2007, Wesley Morris from US Weekly said in the Framing Britney doc, "She's saying, essentially, with no hair, I quit. Whatever you guys are looking for in terms of me coming back and being that person again, that person is gone, and you have destroyed her." 5 days after shaving her head, she attacked that paparazzi's car with an umbrella. Why? She'd just been denied access to see her sons at Kevin Federline's house. He wouldn't open the gate. The paparazzi swarmed her at a gas station, and she snapped. In January 2008, after refusing to hand over her kids to Federline's representatives, She was placed on a 5150 psychiatric hold. That's an involuntary 72-hour hold for people deemed a danger to themselves or others. She was hospitalized at Cedars-Sinai, then Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center. And that's when her father, Jamie Spears, petitioned for an emergency temporary conservatorship. According to Wikipedia and multiple legal sources, it was supposed to be temporary, just days, maybe weeks. It lasted 13 years. So, what actually is a conservatorship? According to legal experts who testified before Congress, it's when a judge appoints someone to manage another person's finances and personal life because they're physically or mentally unable to do it themselves. It's typically used for elderly people with dementia or people with severe disabilities. Britney was 26 years old and working. In February 2008, her father, Jamie Spears, was appointed conservator of both her person and her estate, along with attorney Andrew Wallet. This gave Jamie control over her medical decisions, who she could see, where she could go, what she could spend, and whether she could work. And here's where it gets dark. In her June 2021 court testimony, which was transcribed and published by Variety, she said she was forced to take lithium against her will. She compared her 2019 mental health stay to sex trafficking. She testified she was prevented from removing her IUD, meaning she couldn't have more children, even though she wanted to. She said she was prevented from marrying Sam Ashguy without approval. According to the New Yorker's investigation by Ronan Farrow and Gia Tolino, Britney's family friend Jacqueline Butcher alleged that Jamie was verbally abusive, calling Britney fat, a whore, and a terrible mother. He would allegedly yell, "I am Britney Spears," in arguments with Britney's mom, Lynn. Rapper Iggy Azalea, who worked with Britney in 2015, told the public she witnessed the abuse firsthand. She said Britney was restricted from trivial tasks like drinking soda. Jamie forced Iggy to sign an NDA right before they performed together at the Billboard Music Awards. Netflix's Britney vs. Spears documentary featured leaked documents showing she'd been trying to end the conservatorship for years. Text messages from 2008 showed her telling people she felt imprisoned, but the court kept extending it. She worked throughout all of this. Las Vegas residencies, albums, tours. Forbes reported she earned millions while under conservatorship. She made everyone around her rich while being told she couldn't be trusted to buy coffee without permission. The conservatorship finally ended November 12, 2021, after she was allowed to hire her own lawyer for the first time. So she gets free in 2021, and then what? According to multiple sources, including her 2023 memoir, The Woman in Me, and various interviews, she's been trying to figure out what normal life even means. She married Sam Ashguy in June 2022. They divorced in early 2024. She's been posting dance videos on Instagram, which some people find concerning, and others see it as her just living her life on her own terms for the first time. And here's a detail that didn't get enough attention. According to reports, Britney fired her sobriety coach weeks before this DUI arrest. Let that sink in. She had a sobriety coach, meaning there were people around her who knew she was struggling with substances, and she fired them. Now, you could look at that and say, see, she needs help. She's making bad decisions. But you could also ask, who hired that sobriety coach? Was it Britney's choice or someone else's idea? Was it supportive treatment, or was it another person monitoring her, reporting back to someone, making her feel watched? Because when you've spent 13 years being monitored 24/7, when every therapist you saw reported back to your conservator, when you couldn't even post on Instagram without approval, The idea of having another person tracking your behavior might feel like prison, even if they're trying to help. U.S. Weekly source said she's been at home since the arrest, afraid to face the media circus. Her mom reached out, her sons are coming, her team is putting together a plan. But here's my question. Whose plan is it? Is Britney choosing this support system, or is it being done to her again? Because that's the pattern that worries me. The statement from her rep talks about change that needs to occur in Britney's life, not change she's choosing, change that needs to occur. Here's what I think we're actually seeing. Britney Spears is a 44-year-old woman who spent ages 26 to 39 being controlled. That's 13 years. Most people figure out how to be adults in their 20s and 30s. She spent those years being told she couldn't be trusted to be adult. The conservatorship allegedly told her when to work, what to eat, who she could see, what medication to take, whether she could have children. According to court documents, she had to ask permission for everything. And now she's free, but she doesn't have the tools. Think about it. If you were never allowed to make mistakes, how do you learn judgment? If every bad decision was prevented, how do you develop the muscle memory of recognizing when you're heading down a bad path? This DUI arrest could be a lot of things. It could be substance abuse that needs treatment. It could be a mental health crisis.
So, what do you think about all of this? Do you see it as a sign that she might actually need support or professional help right now? Or could this simply be what it looks like when someone is finally trying to reclaim control of their own life after spending years under a conservatorship? When a person has been restricted for such a long time, their way of expressing freedom, identity, and independence can sometimes look unusual or misunderstood from the outside. So the question is, are we witnessing someone struggling, or are we just seeing someone navigating life again on their own terms? And that leads to another important concern. Should people be worried that situations like this could eventually be used as a reason to push for another conservatorship attempt? Or is that fear overblown? I'd really like to hear your perspective on this. Share your thoughts in the comments and let's talk about it. And if you found this analysis insightful or helpful in understanding the bigger picture, feel free to share it so more people can see the full context and join the conversation.